What's up, everybody? Just a quick disclaimer. We just did our interview. You're going to see it here next. Um, Unfortunately, I share a setup with my son, and he messed with my volume, so the quality is not there for this video. We are going to be more diligent in the future on checking our levels before an interview. I hope you enjoy it anyway.
You just can't stop them. Charging up the wings, turning on the juice. You just can't stop the move.
What's up, everybody? It's the Moose Fan with the Cape Man, and this is our second episode of Let Us Be Heard. What up, Dylan?
What's going on, man? We got a good guest here today.
Yeah, it's not the one we've been promoting on our on the last video, but it's a doozy. He reached out to us and said he'd love to be on the show, so we had to jump on it.
And if I may say, if you guys been to any games recently, well, within the last 10 years, maybe a little bit more,
You know who he
you
is.
definitely know who he is. You've definitely heard him, and recently he's kind of become, like, full of jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Ian!
Moose country.
That's awesome. How you doing?
Should have been a little early in the morning to be doing that, right?
Yeah, my voice doesn't wake up till 2 or 3. Again, I just want to say thanks for coming on our show, being our first guest. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be here. Nothing better than talking about the Moose, right?
That's right. Well, speaking of talking about the Moose now, my first question for you is, it's probably going to be the typical answer, but you spent a long time as an announcer for the Moose. What's your favorite memory? Like just being in the rink.
Gee, over the 27 seasons, it's hard to pinpoint every game. There's a memory that comes out of every game, but I think there's two that really stand out. Well, I could be here all day, but of course, May 10th, 2013, when we won the President Cup on home ice. To me, that was a dream come true. Getting to celebrate that with the fans, like to be there that night, the fans came down on the ice, and that was just epic. And hopefully we'll be able to get to do that again someday. And I was always hoping to make that happen, and finally it did happen. And that's number one. And number two, I think this was it August 18th, 2019. Our son is a high-level referee around here, so he got called up to the queue. Drake Robinson, who you might see him around in the MHL and AUS, and hopefully one day he'll be in the queue. But he got called up one day to work an exhibition game over at the Sportsplex. So to get to work a game with him, that was top shelf. And he says, somebody asked him in an interview about his referee career. They said, so what was highlighting your career? He said, well, I think it was the day I heard my dad introducing my name at the Sportsplex as one of the referees. And so, yeah, I still remember the roster of the crew was, and your referees for today, and Drake Robinson, and the linesman, Alex Cameron, and Brett Foyt.
Oh, you have it memorized.
Yeah, man, that was a big day.
Making memories.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, those are the top two ones. Then you go through, like, the Memorial Cups. Like, I went to the 2000 Memorial Cup. We went pretty deep in that one. Ramsey bid and the boys putting on a show. And then what else? Of course, the 2019 Memorial Cup. Some other ones that stand out, the 2003 game at Halifax Forum, April 15th. Hard to believe that was 20 years ago this past April.
Now, is that the one you were talking about, Dylan?
That's not Timo time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was another one. Yeah. That was off the shelf, eh? Yeah, but that one was when we beat Bathurst 4-0 in Game 7, and you could see the dust coming off of the roof of the old Forum.
Oh, I thought the roof was just like
It was a night, that's for sure, and so those are the big ones. The 2005 run against Sid, that was pretty cool with Rimouski. It didn't come out the way we wanted it to the results that we wanted. But
That's hockey.
then Yeah, that's the way it rolls, man.
Yeah.
But to be there for the runs, and finally to see the cap in 2013, and it all come true with Nate, Joe, and Zach, and the boys.
And you got the ring to prove it.
Yeah, gee whiz, I don't have the bling on.
That's all right.
That's all right. I got the
replica.
the one that they gave the season ticket holders here.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah,
I wasn't. I wasn't fortunate enough to get one of those. I wasn't a season ticket holder, but my buddy Dylan here had an extra, and he brought me one, so I graciously accepted. Yeah,
Dylan, Maritimer of the Week.
That's right.
About the ring. So the ring came up on my Facebook feed. It was 10 years ago this week that we all got them. So going back to after we just won in 2013, I got this email from Brian Urquhart, who's the president of Mooseheads, and the title of the email was "Question for You," and then I opened up the email and it's like, "What's your ring size?" I was like, "Holy crap!"
That's
So
awesome.
I called my wife and Roxanne. I said, "Can you believe it?" I said, "Holy blank, I'm getting a ring." So anyway, that was pretty cool to get that and be recognized in that way, and to have that ring that showed it up. You've probably seen it around it. Anybody from Ray McGuire of Trooper to Randy Backman of BTO, my rock radio days of 204, to the Wreck Laws, Dean Brody, George Canyon, all these music stars have worn the ring, and they are like kids in the candy store when they see this ring. They're like, "What is that? Show me that."
And you almost got into a fight with Willie, Wild Willie.
Oh yeah, wow, Willie, I'm a month.
Yeah.
You almost got the City Mines hello. Go 5 under the eye, right? But yeah, so to have that ring, that's pretty cool. So it's a big deal for my sons. So back when I first got it, my oldest guy, Greg, he said to his brother Trent, he says, "So if Dad dies, who's going to get the ring?" And I said, "Well, don't worry, if the boys, I'm going to get another one for you."
That's right.
So came close a couple of times with the last couple of seasons, 2019 and of course last year. But then another flashback to Brian Urquhart, who was 2020 when the whole pandemic thing happened. And he sent me an email again. It was the day before Christmas Eve. He said, can I meet you at the radio station parking lot tomorrow? I got a little something for you. I was like, sure. So, usually we get a nice little, something from the staff. Might be a bottle of wine and some swag or whatever, just as appreciation, as a Christmas gift. So anyway, I met Brian in the parking lot, and he had something in a box. And I'm like, okay, what's this, man? He goes, "Well, Ian, we wanted to present this to you in front of all the crowd back, on the season-ending game." And he said, "Well, the pandemic hit," and he said, "We wanted to recognize our long staff members that have been with the team for so long." So it was a 20-year service ring. So, shoot, I wish I had the bling on to show you here today. But anyway, it has a number 20 on a jersey on one side, and then my name and so on, and some diamonds around the top. So it was for all those that have been with the team for 20 plus years. So like myself, Ron Beard, the timekeeper, got one, and Tammy Hill, who was with the kids club, the House Palace Kids Club. So it was pretty cool to be recognized that way. So it was a special Christmas that year. So
That's amazing. Yeah. That really is. It's good to be appreciated. No matter where you work, it's amazing to be appreciated, right?
Yeah, man, and it's just such a thrill to be a little part of this team, and to get to know the boys and the players, and then I go on their Facebook now and you see the guys like Bryce Swan having kids. I'm like, oh man, I feel old.
What year did you start flipping the sets again? How did you end up getting started?
Great question, Dylan, because this is it's kind of ironic how this whole thing happened. So it was spring, June-ish, May 1997. I ran into a buddy of mine. My wife sent me for some groceries at Sobeys Clayton Park, and I ran into Mark Church. Mark was he was a guy who I met through the Spina Bifida Association of Nova Scotia. Mark's in a wheelchair and did some volunteer work with the Spina Bifida Association. So became friends with Mark over the years, and I ran into him at Sobeys. So if I hadn't taken that left turn to go get the milk down aisle 5 at Sobeys, I wouldn't have run into Mark. And Mark said, "Hey, Ian, I hear the Mooseheads are looking for a promo DJ announcer." So I was like, wow, that'd be awesome. So I back in the day, there was no texting, no cell phone. So I called Matt McKnight, who was the guy in charge back then, and I just left my voicemail. And so then just never really heard anything back. So then I just took one of my radio tapes, air checks we call them, and dropped that off. And here's a resume, and I left another voicemail. And Matt called me back. He says, "Come on in and let's have a chat." So that was June 23rd, 1997. And he says, "You want the job?" It's like, "Sure." So I didn't even do an audition, which blows me away. I didn't even go in the rink and get on the mic or anything. He just listened to my radio tape and he said, "Hey, job's yours if you want it. Can you start?" It's like, "Sure, yeah, I can start in September." And he said, "One more question. Can you make all the games?" I'm like, "Sure." So here we are, 1,086 games later, and still rocking the bike in Moose Country and loving every minute of it.
And you're on your way
Remember the
to.
first game? You remember your first game?
First game, yeah. Yeah, September 20th, and I believe we're playing Cape Breton. And I'm positive we'll get a win. But I got to Google that. That's something that I did Google years ago, and I can't remember but it was, that was just, it was a blur because I was so darn nervous. And, doing the promo announcing, doing the music as well.
You were doing the music back then.
I was doing the music. Yeah, I did the music.
Okay.
And the promo announcements. And then Pat Connolly, who was a mentor of mine, and a legend. Pat did all the game announcements. So Pat did the penalties and goals. And then I did like the starting lineup and the 3 stars and so on. And then, to get to work with Pat for 12 seasons, that was pretty awesome. And doing music, it was nothing more cooler than on a Saturday night, a sold out barn, and throwing on, great big seat, runaway, and having the place blow up. That was so cool. And there's a method to it. It's not like you're playing tunes. There's a certain science to it to get the fans going.
Yeah, there's definitely certain songs too that, especially in Nova Scotia or Eastern provinces, that the crowd will just erupt to.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Put on Move Away to blow the place up. I wish I was able to play that back in the day.
So you said Cape Breton, you think, was your first game. Now, do you ever secretly cheer for the Eagles, being a Caper yourself, when we're playing them?
Listen, bye.
Cape Breton is always my second favorite team, and I get a lot of heat.
Good answer.
From my Cape Breton friends and family, because they say, "Ian, your passport's been denied for another 6 months." But Cape Breton is always my second favorite team, and I'm just so glad they're able to keep running up there in Cape Breton, keep the team going. And it'll be a sad day to see them leave, because they've been in the league since 1997 when I came in the league. And it's always a great battle of Nova Scotia when Cape Breton comes into town. And I've been to a few Cape Breton games over the years, and it's just nice to be a part of the scene and in the nest up there. And long live the Eagles and the Moose rivalry.
Now, were you up there for Bearcat?
No, I wasn't.
No.
Sorry, Bearcat. No, he worked with Fabian, of course, with the Mooseheads over the years, and certainly a legend. It was great to see him on the other side of the ice there on the bench, Bearcat. But may he rest in peace.
Yeah, amen. You're coming up on 1,100. 1,100 games with the Moose in December. Is it still enjoyable?
Man, every game, Colin, it's like you can't help but get pumped up for it. Whether it's Tuesday nights and there's 5,000, 6,000 fans in the stands, or it's a Saturday night sold out barn and 10,595, whatever we can fit in there now. To me, it's an honor and it's a thrill to be able to get behind the microphone and put on a show. And the fans are what makes it happen. So, to me, for every goal announcement, you hear the fans going wild, and I'm like, that is what it's all about. And every game, I'm just thrilled to be there and put on the best performance that possibly can. And same for the players. We're all there to do a job, and whether it's a small crowd or a big crowd, people paid their money and they want to see the Mooseheads product here in Moose Country. And I'm just proud to be there.
100%.
So this isn't one that we had written down, but your answer just made me think of it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it where you're on the radio and everything for a week? What is your difficult game days?
Well, it's a good one there, Colin. Yeah, so during the weekday, my radio show, it's now being heard in 4 different markets. So I'm out of Halifax, but I'm syndicated through Hot Country 103.5 and also in Bridgewater on Country 100.7, and as well CHSJ, which is Country 94 in St. John, and Country 105 in Thunder Bay, Ontario. So that just kind of kicked in the last little while, doing this midday network program back in February. So my day starts a little bit earlier now. Well, compared to when I was doing mornings with Dana and Kelly and Lee Sidley.
Which was an amazing show, by the way.
Oh, well, thanks.
It was an amazing show. I'm a country fan at heart. That was an amazing show.
Thanks, Colin. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with Dana and I and Denise and Kelly. And, one time we got nominated for Morning Show of the Year, mid-size market. And that to me was a win, even though we didn't win it. But to get nominated, that was a huge thrill back in 2017.
And that's all of Canada, correct?
That was all over Canada. Yeah. So
Yeah.
little old Halifax, Hot Country 103.5 made some noise there. And now Dana, she's out in Vancouver on the #1 country radio station in
Yep.
Canada, JR Country. So pretty darn proud of her. But back to the radio grind. So a typical day. I'll get up at 6 o'clock. Usually get on the road by 7:30, get into the studio at 8:15, 8:30, and start recording the network. And on a good day, I can get out of there around 2 o'clock out of the radio station. On a weekday, then I go to the gym and get a little workout in for about an hour or so and get a good sweat on. Sometimes there might be a little nap in the RAV before that, depending on what the game schedules are like. And then usually get down to the rink around 4:30-ish or so, 5 o'clock. And the boys, Ryan McDonald is my in-game producer. He has the scripts ready. We go over some pregame notes. We go over if there's anything happening at the pregame ceremony, we go over that. Then I got to get my stats together, which is a lot of work. And you got to get the names. You got to go talk to the coaches, get all the pronunciations right.
Yeah.
And then it's showtime. So I always go up to my buddy's press box there, the Pat Connolly press box, and it's a good hour or so, half hour of pregame prep to make sure you have all your ducks in a row there. And when the warm up is over, it's game time. You got to go.
Prep is everything. In every industry, prep is everything.
Oh, you got to be ready.
Yeah.
And if I go in there rushed and not prepared, it doesn't show, but I'm stressed, and I don't like being stressed. I like going in, being relaxed, knowing all the names, knowing all the stats, having all my pregame stuff ready. I've got to retain the superstitions that I do, and I got to go talk to my buddy Tyler.
Yeah, Big W Tyler.
Big W Tyler. Like introduce him at the home opener and seeing him take his hat off. That is just he gets me right there.
He's an amazing kid. We go to a lot of watch parties with Tyler. Joanne's in a group chat with us. I absolutely love the two of them. They're just really good, wholesome, down home people. Salt of the earth people, really.
Oh man, and when Tyler's not there behind me and Joanne, it's not the same. Like you
No.
sit right behind me where Dylan is there this year, and Tyler is always the best goal judge in the league, right?
Logo! God, I love that kid.
I love him, man. As I say, it's not the same when he's out here.
Yeah. You had a follow up to what he was just talking about, right, regarding names?
Yeah, so first off, the press box up there is a perfect place to be able to work with people as well, and just being able to sit up there. Nobody in the building.
Yeah.
So that's a good place. But when you said you'd go to the players or go to the coaches and ask for the correct way to say their name.
Yeah.
How nervous are you when it comes to saying somebody's name for the first time? And what's the hardest name that you've had to do?
Well, I write it out phonetically, so you got to take it. There's a certain way, and a lot of us that are in the business and in the public address announcer business, it's a tight brotherhood, just like the referee goes with my sons. But it's like we all have our own little way of remembering the names, and with some of the announcers, we do like voice mails with or audio voice chats with, for example, Matt McLeod of the Islanders. We'll go back and forth, and I'll just send him a little voice memo of how, our Mooseheads players' names are said. Like when Marty Perk came along, people are like, "How the heck do you say that? FRK?"
The other one, Reese Peich, this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Reese,
Yeah.
yeah. I went to talk to Reese because I want to get it straight from the player's mouth, right? And I have to get our names correct. And you know, I know what it was like when my sons were playing. It's like if I heard, you know, fantastic goal scored by number 3.
What's up, everybody? We're back. Technical difficulties with Zoom. Ian was in the midst of talking about how he has to pronounce names and how he felt when his son's name was mispronounced for somebody else on the ice. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so you know, you always want to get the names correct, and you know, oh, here's another funny story. So my son, as I mentioned earlier, Drake, he reps in the MHL, Maritime Hockey League. So he was up in Toronto doing a game with Steven Starzonski. And I know Star, you don't know how to say it. It's a little iffy, right? So the announcer in Toronto, he was introducing the officials, and your referees for tonight's game are Steven Starzonski and Drake Batherson. So Drake goes over to shake the hands of the coaches at the start of the game, and one of the coaches said, "I didn't know Drake Batherson was also a hockey referee." And Drake's like, "What do you mean?" So the announcer introduced you as Drake Batherson. So God bless the PA announcer up there, but he got Starzonski right, but he kind of blew it on Robinson. But that happens to me too, you know. So you just, if you make a mistake, you just keep going.
Starzonski is one of those 4-letter words with us. Same with Langell. It's a 4-letter word with us.
No, you continue the O.
Yeah.
It could be a 12-letter word for some people.
Man.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm friends with these guys, so I and you know, as Drake is a rep as well, and he reps with all these guys like Star, Langell, and Commander, and so it's neat to hear the inside stories of what they go through in the run of a game. You should have him on sometime. He's got a few stories.
I wonder if Langell would come on for us. He's a local guy.
Local guy, yeah. I know Drake would definitely go on. He was on another podcast, and it was really insightful for a lot of people to see what they go through, like being on the road. Like, for example, he did a game in Yarmouth last night with Mariners against Summerside, 3-2 overtime game, and he's running a clinic down there today for the upcoming officials in Yarmouth. So he's teaching the up-and-coming officials, you know, the ins and outs of refereeing, and it's quite a life. And yeah, they pay their dues, and you know, he's been in it for 15 years now, and traveling the roads, you're always worried, especially on a snowy night, if he's getting from Amherst or from Antigonish doing AUS, or you know, it's always nice when he has these ones that are over at Steel or at Dow, when you know, okay, he's only 15 minutes from home. He lives in the city, but it's just nice to know he's not down in the guts of Yarmouth trying to get through a snowstorm.
So yeah, you can if you want to set that up, have him contact us. I'd love to have him on.
Yeah, you bet. No, he'll do it. He's a busy guy, but he'll make it happen. Sure.
I'll say this: as much flack as I know, like myself and Colin and other people give the refs while they're on the ice, it is a hard job, and like they can't see everything.
And after the game, we're very nice to them. When we see them outside,
the moment that buzzer goes, it's done. And what happens on the it stays on the end. Personally, for us.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's a tight brotherhood. They're all together. They're in it to do the best they can. And as you said, they can't see it all. But the biggest compliment I ever got was when Drake was doing the Tassa games out here in Tantallon, where he started out. And the parents would say, when you see Drake coming out on the ice, we're going to get a good game. And that's all you can ask for as a fan,
or a dad.
Yeah.
Or dad.
Yeah.
Right?
You just want to have a good game. Right?
Yep.
And that's, to me, that was top.
So I have go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you have. Yeah. No, you go ahead.
So I kind of want to change course a bit. We talked about loose heads and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You just recently wrote a book.
How about that, eh? Yeah, I was wanting you to ask.
What made you? There it is. I got mine's coming on Monday. Mine will be here Monday.
Thanks, Dylan. Yeah, it's the front and the back. Thanks as well to Cam Russell, who's at PM, and as well Kenzie Malone from formerly Eastlink, now TSN, and Dan Robertson, formerly Eastlink, voice of the Winnipeg Jets, for the endorsements on the back. That meant a lot. And how did it come to be? Well, it was just it's because of the radio feature that Dana and I used to do on the morning show called the Bad Dad Joke of the Day. Brennan Oikel, who's a local legend in writing and works with McIntyre Purcell Publishing, he heard me doing these jokes, and they were looking for somebody to, start a joke book. So he shot me an email a couple of years ago. He said, "Did you ever think about doing a joke book?" I'm like, "Not really, but let's see what we can do." So I sent down a demo. Originally, it was just generic, bad dad jokes. There's tons of those out there for books. And then we tried to do like a regional joke book with, making fun of place names in Nova Scotia. And that was like, yeah, okay, that's good. That'll only sell in Atlantic Canada.
Yeah, it's very niche.
Yeah, very niche. Yeah. So Vernon says, with your connections with Mooseheads and your knowledge of hockey, why don't you do a hockey joke book? And then that's where the whole light went off. It's like, yeah, great. So I sent down a script of 100 jokes as a demo, and that was great. They said, "Can you send us down another 100?" It's like, okay. I sent them down 200, and then they came back and they said, "Can you send us down another 100?" It's like, okay, I'm competitive. I'm gonna do this. So 365 jokes is what I sent down in my final manuscript, and that was whittled down to 152 jokes that are in the book here now. And I'm pretty. It's pretty wild how it all came together, and just to see the process and the behind the scenes stuff, the hundreds of emails and phone calls that we've done, and to see this come to fruition, and crazy that it was #1 as a bestseller
On Amazon.
On Amazon this week. And
I'm actually looking at it right now. Looking at it right now in the sports and humor section. It's still #1.
It's still #1. Wow.
Looking at it right
Yeah,
now.
congratulations,
Yeah,
man. That's no small feat. That's no small feat.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of hard work put into it, but it's a labor of love. And thank you to the fans and to the folks that have bought this book so far. And we're already looking at volume 2 here. You want a couple of examples?
That answers my next question. I was going to ask if you have another book in the works.
Yeah, there is. We're seeing how this one goes, but there's already talking about one. But this is, pretty much in its infancy. It's just starting out. Released in August 23rd, so we're about 6 weeks into this. But just to see the feedback and again, I can't thank the fans enough for getting behind me. We're going to do some stuff with the Mooseheads games down the line.
Good.
For the season ticket holder skate and as well kids skate. When my kids were little, it was the Hal's Pals Kids Club skate, but it's Kids Club skate now. So we're going to do something with that. We're going to do some giveaways throughout the games down the road. So if BJ's on doing a contest, we'll throw in a book, and
Nice.
somebody would be lucky to get a ruined copy with my autograph on it.
So let's hear an example. Give us a joke.
You want a couple of examples?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, fellas, how do mice score all their gold?
Oh, let's hear it.
Top cheese. I think you guys might like this one. What did the bird do while watching a hockey game? Chirp the player.
McPhee. I got one for you can use if you like.
What you got?
What do the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Titanic have in common?
Jeez, I don't think I've ever heard this before, Colin. What?
They both look great until they hit the ice.
You notice how you say that with the little Leafs logo behind them there.
Who's got Leafs behind them?
The thing about the book, I try to keep it not too. It's all kid friendly.
Yeah.
And I try not to make it take digs at teams. I'm a lifelong Leaf fan, and I've suffered through all the years of that. So yeah, the book it's 152 pages. It's all kid friendly. It's great for those long hockey trips around Atlantic Canada and the Maritimes. We've done it when our boys were little, and nothing like being on the road 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours. So yeah, it's great for that. And if I might add, it's a nice little stocking stuffer.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you're a writer. You're a radio personality. You're the voice of the Moose.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself blessed, lucky, or is it just like hard work paying off?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of, I guess it's hard work. A lot of it is, being in the right place at the right time. Like, for example, being at Sobeys when I found out about the Mooseheads job. I always think of, like, what happened to Roxanne didn't send me to get milk and bread that night, but I'd be the voice of the Mooseheads, or I'd be, working with the team. I also have, I'm talking to you from my mom's voiceover studio. There's quite a few jerseys you might see on here. I use them for
sound softening. Yeah.
Yes, soundproofing it and so on. So,
oh,
so that's see the Leafs.
I seen the Leaf play. Yeah.
So they're pretty cool jerseys. A lot of them are sentimental ones.
Oh, Robinson.
Yeah, that's which one's that? Okay, that's that was my Q104 days, just before I went to high country. So it's the jerseys that Bobby and BJ work on wear on the ice there. But so that's a little tour of the studio, and
Nice.
so this is my home voiceover business that I have, and I've been running this for since 2015. So I voice commercials around Atlantic Canada. Some of them even go coast to coast. So I got about 10 or 15 clients, and to me, it's fun to be your own kind of business owner, and it's another fire in the fire, as to say, and it's pretty rewarding sometimes.
That's awesome, man. Your energy. We all love your energy when we're in the stands and we hear you yelling. Is it ever hard to bring that energy? Like, is there days where you're just like not feeling it?
No, every game, as I said earlier, I try to bring my A game, just like players. Like being the announcer, you're a part of the team, and you've got a role to play. Same as the players and the goalies and the coaches and everybody else. So yeah, you got to bring your A game. It's the only time it's tough is when I'm sick, and when you have a cold or a sore throat, or I did one game when I had the flu and the shakes and the fever. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. But knock on wood, in 27 years, I haven't missed a game because I was sick. And ironically, last year for the home opener, thankfully Fiona flew through because I had COVID and I was not going to be able to do the home opener. And I was like, oh my gosh, and that would be a killer not to do the home opener and introduce Tyler.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
Big W Tyler.
Big W Tyler. Just a little, So luckily, well, not luckily, but anyway,
At least one good thing came out of the game.
One good thing came out of Fiona that I kept my streak rolling, and well, not the streak, but I've missed a few games from my kids' hockey tournaments over the years. That's about the only time. And when back in 2003, my dad passed away, I missed a couple of games in the playoffs there, but it's a big commitment. I try to be there every game, and J.C. Douglas, Barry Rogerson, they're my backups, and they come in and fill in. But a really cool story I heard one time when we're in the 2013 playoffs. Drake was in high school provincials for Sir John A. playing in Sydney, and I didn't want to miss his final tournament ever. So anyway, I was talking to Kathy, Nathan McKinnon's mom, the night we won the President Cup on home ice, and Kathy said, Ian, Sarah, who is Nathan's sister, Sarah said that first two games when we weren't here, she says, I don't like this. Ian's not here. So,
Well, because you are the voice of the Moose.
Well,
when you're not there, something is missing.
Yeah, well, it's
right?
part of the product, part of the brand, I guess, and a part of the show. And to me, that's the biggest compliment I can get. And to know that you mean that much to the fans, to me, that's so cool. And that's why I do this is for the fans, for the play.
Now, were you nervous when the new owners took over? That they would change the brand, maybe get rid of some people?
Well, it's like in radio. I've gone through radio ownership changes over the years. I've seen a lot of changes happen. And no, to answer your question, no, because I knew Bobby Smith was with us for 20 plus years or whatever. And Bobby's a fellow Cape. We were actually both born in the same hospital in North Sydney, St. Elizabeth Hospital.
That's a rough town. That is a rough town.
Hey, man, I grew up there.
That is a rough town.
Actually, I should give a shout out to my friends and family in
Yes.
Big Door. They're like, you're not from Sydney Mines, you're not from North Sydney, you're from Big Door. So I'm from Big Door, proud of it. And, so when you get across the Seal Island Bridge, that's where I'm from.
I had my share of fights in the Main Street Lounge, by the way. Yeah, it's a bad spot, buddy.
Yeah, little Cape Breton bingo at the same time.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so when the ownership took over, I knew Bobby was just going to sell the team to anybody.
Yeah.
So to see Sam and Peter come in and
Care.
take over, they are a part of it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and to me, what they did, I live in Butte. I'm 5 minutes from the fires here. Back in when the fires happened, and to see what they did for the players that lost everything,
For the kids too.
But for the kids, yeah. Like my friend Molly, I messaged her. I said the Mooseheads are doing something for the players of Tassa and Tantallon area and Hammett's Plains, and she says, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know about this." So Carter, her son, and all those other players, they got brand new gear. They got the registration paid, and that was all through Sam and Peter. They heard there was a fire here in our community, and as they say, this is the community's team. See them step up and do that, I knew we were in good hands.
Yeah, but not only
That
that,
just shows the type of people that they are, and the fact that even at the games, they weren't up top. They're sitting down
with the fans. That's right.
Fans. They're going around.
They're into it.
Yeah.
They're waiting in the lines with us and everything,
and can't wait to talk to us. They literally they'll take every opportunity they can to have a conversation with a Moosehead fan.
Oh, that's it, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
And to me, I only met them a couple of times, and then I got to introduce them to my family, and they're like, it was so cool just to be able to do that, and the stuff they do behind the scenes that a lot of the average fans don't hear about, helping out, this person and that person, that's pretty incredible, and that's what you want to see in an owner.
Well, we know
even last year. Sorry, Colin.
No, go ahead.
Even last year, when we made the deep run in the playoffs, flying some of the staff on their planes to the away games to be able to watch the team. Even that showing the appreciation for the staff that's there already.
That's incredible, right? And a lot of us, there's not much turnover at the Mooseheads office or at that Scotiabank Center. Like those of us that have been there a long time. You look at Brian Urquhart, Travis Kennedy, going through the Scotty McIntosh. Scotty's been there quite a while, and then you look in the timekeeper's box. Dave Hunt. Dave is right next to me every game. He's in his 40th season.
Jeez.
So Dave's been around through the AHL days and
with the Halifax Citadels.
Yeah, Dave's been there since the Voyageurs. And then you look at Ronnie Beard, who just retired as the timekeeper, over 5,000 events that he's done, and was it 1,148 games. So it's a thrill to work with these guys. And Ronnie, he's just turned 88 years young a couple of weeks ago, and he just got inducted into the Maritime Sport Hall of Fame. So
congratulations! That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. And Ron is just he's it was always great. He always gives me the 10-second warning for last minute of play. So he's like, 10 seconds, Ian. It's like, okay, Ronnie, last minute of play. Yeah.
I think Dylan has. I think we went. This was awesome. We went through a lot of our questions. I think there's only one remaining. You answered all of our questions. Dylan, you had a question about.
We've gone through your Mooseheads. We've gone through the radio and everything like that. You've had the pleasure of being the in-arena announcer for quite a few NHL preseason games.
Mm-hmm.
Most recently, the Pittsburgh-Ottawa one. But there we go. How did that come about? Like the first time when you were approached, how did you feel? Were you like, what were those experiences like to be able to get to announce the NHL players in the arena?
Yeah, that's next level. That's when I remember Bob Cole said, if you don't have any nerves, there's something wrong. It's time to get out. So every game, if it's a Mooseheads game, I do get a little nervous. The big thing when Sloan comes on, it's like, okay, I'm starting to get pumped. I got to get that intro out. And every game, you have a little, nerves, little butterflies in the stomach. But when it comes to the NHL, that's, when you really got to step up your game. And especially, being on TSN, most recently, of course, with Sid, but back with, over here, I have all my lanyards from the NHL days with Detroit and Montreal, Boston, Ottawa, Florida, was a Toronto Pittsburgh game that I worked. I think that was 2006 or whatever. But yeah, and it's a different system because at the Q games, we know we have it down pat. We know how everything works. But then when the NHL comes in, for example, the other night at the Pittsburgh game, I was looking for a roster, and me without a roster is like giving a carpenter a hammer with no nails. So I couldn't find a roster anywhere. And thankfully I ran into Dean Brown, who is the Senators radio play-by-play guy. And I've met him over the years. It's like, Dean, I can't find a roster anywhere. Come on up, Ian. I got a big blown up one for you. So like he was a savior that way. But, NHL, as I say, it's a different system, but you have to be well prepared and have to be ready to go. And this will never be topped. I don't think introducing Sidney Crosby in his hometown with a sold out crowd. And next morning I was watching Sports Center and I choked on my Cheerios. It's like, holy jumpins, they used my clip on Sports Center.
Well, you did a great job.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and I got to meet Sid after the game. I've never met him right up until that night of October 2nd. So I went back to the media scrum, and they were talking to Sid, and I was just pretending I was on my phone. I took a couple of media pictures for the radio station's website. But anyway, he broke up from the scrum, and I knew which way he had to get back into the Mooseheads dressing room, the back way. So I was like, Sid. He goes, yeah. I said, it's Ian, the Mooseheads public address announcer. Hey, Ian, how you doing? I said, oh, man, nice to meet you. Huge thrill to introduce you here tonight. And can we get a picture? It's like, oh, yeah, sure. So we took a little selfie there. And then he goes, you know what, Ian? Said, what's that? Would have been a perfect night if you had got to announce a goal call. I was like, next time, buddy, next time.
I live in Cole Harbor, so it should actually be named Sidney Crosby Land, because you can't go anywhere without seeing a Penguin jersey or hear the name Crosby. It's crazy here.
Now, when you met him, did you show him the Memorial Cup ring and be like, look what I got?
I just, because that's kind of that's one thing that we have that he doesn't have, right?
You'd be like, your buddy Nate helped me get this.
Yeah, and Joe as well. Yeah. And that's when Joe was here from the Memorial Cup. I had the ring on that night, and I said to Joe, thanks for helping me get this, buddy. And he goes, oh, I have mine at home, and my mother takes good care of it. But Sid was just pure class, and that's it's everything that you wanted it to be, and to get to meet him, that was the pinnacle of it all, man.
That's amazing. That's awesome, especially as a hockey fan. Like, you may do it as a job, but at the end of the day, like, you're a fan just like us. You know what I mean?
Oh, huge, man. Yeah. Like I'm in there to win it like everybody, and just as I say, to be a small piece of this puzzle, and to be able to do this, game in, game out. It's just a huge thrill and an honor, and I'm just blessed to be there.
And we're blessed to have you on the show tonight. I really do appreciate you putting the time aside for us, especially for a channel
Even
that's
with the
just
technical
but I mean, like, for a small channel just starting out, for you to come on, it shows a lot about your character, and we really do appreciate your time.
Oh, Colin, thanks, and Dylan as well. Like, I just love talking about the Moose, and anytime to me, this is what it's all about, and you, the fans, make it happen. And if it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be there. So go Moose, go!
That's right. All right, so that's it for us today. Good show, guys. Really appreciate both you guys' time. Oh, Dylan, go ahead.
One final thing. Make sure to go grab his book. It's on Amazon right now, The Ultimate Hockey Joke Book.
And it's actually it's for the price too. It's only like $15, isn't it?
Yeah.
$14.95.
Yeah, it's really good price.
Amazon.ca, and my publisher says you can't say Amazon.ca enough there, Ian. So Amazon.ca, also in most major bookstores in Nova Scotia, and
Chapters,
independent bookstores, Chapters, Indigo, Nimbus Publishing as well, Strawberry Hill, and a friend of mine, Sharon McVicker from Cape Breton, she said, "Oh, I saw your book down at the Pier 21 gift shop." It's like, if I made it to the gift shop,
wow,
pretty big. I know I made it, right?
That's crazy. That is actually my wife worked there for 7 years, and the amount of people that go through that place is incredible.
Yeah. So thanks for the plug, boys, for the book. And, as I say, hopefully Santa will use it as a nice little stocking stuffer this Christmas.
We're going to pick up a couple.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as I say, it's, a huge thrill to be on your podcast here. And thanks for having me on.
Right on. All right, guys. Hope you're all healthy, safe, and happy out there. And as always, go Moose, go.